All right, this is lesson 5.1. We have a playlist going on the Art Teacher Maven channel. It is for kindergartners, and this is the notes for the adults video to walk you through how to teach this if you want to teach it on your own. So we are building up in lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4, and now we're in lesson 5. The dots are the first mark making to make small dots, lots of dots, dotted lines. The dots become dashes, the shortest line, an expression of line, they are the shortest. Then we made long lines in the last video, and now lines connect to make shapes. So that's where we're headed, is connecting all of this concept together. And these are 40-minute lessons that I have, and I see the kids about once a week, and I see them about 35 times total. So there's a lot to cram into 35 times. And you can think about there's snow days in there and kids get sick, but at least I have them year after year. So if I don't necessarily get something in kindergarten, I can hit it again in first grade, hit it again in second grade, and build up on these concepts over time. So shapes are one of the 7 elements of art. Line is one of the 7 elements of art. So now we have 2 of the 7 elements that we're introducing in the 5th lesson. So we're starting to build upwards with these concepts. Open lines are more like symbols. You can think of numbers. These are open lines. Letter B is closed, but these are symbols. And then, so we're moving away from just lines all over the place to what happens when we connect them, that we make forms. Form is also one of the elements of art. So we can see these are geometric shapes, and we talk about that. They have to connect, and that we don't want lazy lines, because lazy lines are just lines. They're not actually shapes. So then we also discuss, and all of this is discussed in the slideshow, all of these concepts, if you want to see how I introduce these concepts. In video 5.2, it's a slideshow. It discusses basically how I would teach the lesson, introducing everything, and then the rest of the class time is to actually paint their shapes. Organic shapes are shapes without names. They are not easily repeatable, or there's something like pear-shaped. Pear-shaped isn't a shape, it's just describing something, like everything went pear-shaped. That cloud is pear-shaped. It's describing something as something else. It's not a true shape. Like geometric shapes are like triangle and circle and square and cylinder and those types of things. So make sure to check out video 5.2 if that interests you. That will be uploaded next in the playlist. Everything's nice and neat and organized. So, and we use the Shape Song by Scratch Garden also on YouTube. Great song. The kids like the catchiness of it. They'll ask for the line song. They'll ask for the shape song. They just genuinely enjoy these songs on Scratch Garden, and that they go along with art education. So we review every time because kids have been absent. They've forgotten in 7 days since they last had a class. So we talk about how to hold the paintbrush with our dinosaur fingers, loading the paintbrush, that we use our dynamic tripod grip. It looks like a triangle. These 2 fingers make the base, and then we have our finger on the top. That we're gripping where the metal meets the wood or plastic handle. Sometimes they say pinch, pinch, couch, that this is the couch of the hand and that the paintbrush rests there. That we don't want to hold the paintbrush by the tail because we don't have control of it. It's like too loose. So we want that nice tight grip on our paintbrush. We're going to take some water and wake up colors that we want to try to use. Let's wake up yellow. We pretend that the water is coffee. We wake up the color. And then we're going to add the color to the paper. And we're going to connect those lines together to make a shape. Is this connected lines? And they'll all say, no, no, it's not. So we're going to try to connect these lines together. When the kids are painting, I leave like about 5 minutes to clean up at the end. So I can have them all wash hands. Some teachers are great and they'll wash hands back in their classroom, and that's helpful. But But I try to make sure I get through all the content really fast so that they have the most amount of time for the demonstration and then for painting. And they can really paint whatever shapes they want. I do encourage them to make shapes with names and shapes without names. So here's like a shape without a name. So I might show them a few and then I put away the example, because if you don't put away the example, they'll just copy it. We want them to create their own picture, their own painting. So 5-year-olds have about a 5-minute attention span. So I gave directions for like 5 minutes, and then we're giving a demonstration for 5 minutes, and the song is a few minutes long, just to kind of keep their interest. And then the rest of the class period is for painting, minus those like 5 minutes to clean up. If you are a homeschooler, you can set a timer and just tell them we're going to paint until this timer goes off. Like, just keep adding to your picture, and I'll be like, is this a shape? And they'll be like, no, connect it. So you can have fun with it, be silly and playful, and they'll encourage you if you think you can't do it to do it. So you can be like, oh, I don't think I can do that. And the kindergartners will give you a lot of encouragement. And we want to tell them to paint it all the way in until they can't see any peekaboos, any white spots. And then we're going to rinse our brush off, and we're just going to keep adding shapes, as many as you can, until that timer goes off. I like to use a visual timer. It makes a lot of sense to kids. You can practice like a crescent shape. You do the inside first and then the outside second. A nice crescent shape, and paint it in. And we're going to keep going. And then basically at the end, if you have time, some kids, usually we don't have time, but if we have time, some kids like to like paint little faces on their little characters that they made, or give them little body parts. Do they have to do this? No, it's like open-ended, but some kids just naturally start personifying their characters. If you have time, you can like paint the background a color. It depends how much time you have. In 40 minutes, they really only had time to paint like a lot of shapes. They could look around in the classroom and paint shapes they see, paint shapes with names, paint shapes without names, hitting on the words organic and geometric shapes. So they might pick a color and paint the background, get rid of all that white paper. It really just depends how much time you have. What I like about the visual timer is they're just going to paint until that goes off, and it just keeps them from asking you if they're done yet, because we're still building that muscle. In like September, probably in October by this point, with this lesson being lesson 5, we've gone through the weeks we have in September. They're still learning to like stick with something for like longer than a few minutes. So we're building their capacity. So they just ask a lot, like, am I done yet? Am I done yet? Am I done yet? So it's just like, oh, you're not done until all the minutes disappear. I call it pie. Until all the pieces of pie disappear and the timer beeps, then you can stop painting. So you're just going to keep painting, my friend, until that timer goes off, and then the rest of the minutes are for cleanup. So that's what they're up to in this lesson. It's very open-ended. As long as they're making shapes and it's school appropriate, we don't mind what it is. So it gives them a lot of freedom to just explore with the paint and explore connecting lines and making shapes. And some kids just naturally start to do this even without my suggesting it. I might suggest this if they have time. So most of the time I don't. I just let it be. It doesn't always have to look like something. It doesn't always have to be something. Just let it be their expression of lines becoming shapes. So I hope that that outline helps you. And the next video will be the slideshow, and then video 5.3 will be me teaching it as if I'm teaching it to a class, so you can see how I would teach that without any of this notes part or without the slideshow connected. If you got value from this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel to grow and reach the right audience. When I turn that the video is on for children, it turns off the comments, so then I don't get any feedback about how the channel is doing or what you might be looking for. So there is a Facebook group called Art Teacher Maven Hangout, so you can go there and give feedback or ask questions or requests, make requests for videos. Thank you.